Hi everyone, this is Andre from Wrestle to the Top, and today I have something very special. My good friend Ruaan is here from the Western Cape, and I'll be back to my normal videos quite soon, looking at these figures that you've seen so often in the back. But today we're going to just have a little bit of an interview and talk a bit about what we like about wrestling. Interesting questions, so you can know more about these two idiots and what we enjoy about wrestling. So, Ruan, take it away.
Hello, Andre. Thanks for the privilege to appear on your show. We know each other a very long time. We know each other actually from childhood, and that's the connection we had wrestling. Other than schoolwork and everything like that, we really connected in wrestling. I know you were a big Undertaker fan back in those days. I was always a British Bulldog fan and so on. And it was more than just action figures or more than just a T-shirt. It's like finding treasure and sharing it with your friend. And yeah, we enjoyed it even ever since. It's been now many years later.
Let's be correct, 36 years. So that
Yes.
says we are two old guys. But
Yes.
wrestling has been a big part of our lives, and we still enjoy today. I've heard the quote, I think it was George Bernard Shaw that said, people get old because they stop playing.
Yes.
But the big problem is, if you stop playing, that is when you get old. So I have children myself, and I try to introduce them to wrestling. My son likes it, but my daughters even more. So I expect them to be the next Bella twins because they are identical twins.
Yes, and it's good to share with them the past also. It's a good thing to grow up with wrestling, but if you have something that you can go into the past and see where it came from, I think that's nice. All the eras we went through, all the body types we went through, all the styles of wrestling, and
Our shapes or the
the
wrestlers?
wrestlers. But then
Okay.
it went into our shapes because we tried the moves on ourselves.
But don't forget, I was the one that was actually a promoter of a match and booker.
Yeah, it's cool because they actually saw us having a little bit different mindset, so they created us something we can show what we have for the love we can express through this. And they gave us an opportunity to, we and then other friends also, to create a real wrestling match. And then we took the names from popular wrestlers like Undertaker and we created it in our own version. Like I say, he's the Undertaker fan. So he was in Afrikaans the onderbroek, the underwear. I don't know if I should have said that, but at the time it was perfect.
Folks, we're freestyling this, so it's going to end up in the video on YouTube. So yes, okay.
And Jake the Snake was Yaki Saki.
Yucky the Slocky.
And I can't remember. I can't remember all of them. But yeah, we had fun. It wasn't serious, and I think that life can be very
But let's
serious.
say the other guy's going to be pissed if we don't at least name them.
Well, you can do that.
Stefan Marais was Yucky the Slocky, if I remember. You were Vader, weren't you?
I was Vader, but they said father in Afrikaans. Yeah, so
Like father in English. And
Christian, I'm not sure who he was.
Christian?
Yokozuna maybe, but I don't think
Was
that's
he?
an Afrikaans name you can
Yeah,
add to it.
it's just a universal language.
But he has
Yokozuna,
the body,
rank.
so he didn't need the name. So he
He
can
was
look,
the body.
not the body, the body.
No, the body. Strong man.
I hope he doesn't see this video.
Okay.
But anyway, life is so serious. So wrestling makes life nice, and making
It's
it
just
into
to
your
break
life.
with the normal things of everyday life. I have a very stressful work situation. So when I need to break away from things, wrestling was always there for me. It was me and my father's soap opera that
Yes.
we used to watch.
And you mentioned your father in the first video. I remember that. And that brought memories to my own father. And that's the thing, we could share both, because if it wasn't for our father sharing it with us, or just allowing us to live in this world we are going into, bringing back is now a third generation. If you take your father, you and your son, that's actually a very good thing, and it's a connection point. So it's exciting.
Yes, absolutely.
They can one day say, but my father did this and that and this and that.
No, he was a stupid idiot. Okay.
And making this YouTube channel is like putting memories into a
in the time
archive.
capsule.
They can go back and say, but look at that, look at that. And I mean, that's very good, creating something like that. So
No, but we are completely freestyling this. We're not going to take second takes or anything like that.
yes,
Whatever comes out in this video, it comes out. It comes out like the show that was the longest running show on Monday nights. It came out raw.
live. Yes, so yeah, I'm very privileged to be here. Let's start with the first question. Who is your all-time favorite wrestler?
And why?
And why?
It has to be The Undertaker. Because as a kid, I always liked anything horror based or what, because he was a living dead Undertaker from the Western era. So yes, it was an awesome character.
And he had a much great career, you can say, from where he started and where he ended.
The greatest
and he
gimmick
never
of all time.
failed his gimmick, so he always improved. And I think that's also lessons from our wrestlers. You can always use it in your own life. You see life is getting boring, you can always do something
Adapt,
to change.
adopt, and improve.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know how you want to, if you need us, want to go to a specific topic, or should I ask you another question?
I think let's freestyle it. Let's go for it. Anything. Ask
Okay.
anything.
The one question I actually hate is like picking one person or one thing from the total history of wrestling. I mean, that's a very difficult question.
No, that's
If
easy.
you ask-
Ric Flair. Woo!
Yeah, but it's like what makes
The answer to every important question is the nature boy Ric Flair.
But what if you are not a fan of him?
Well,
Should you be a fan to
yes,
acknowledge his?
yes.
But what if you are not a fan then?
Then you have been living under a rock for maybe 20, 30 years. That's the problem.
And a good thing, you're not focusing only on the World Wrestling Federation.
Yes.
You're having a much broader perspective on the stuff. So it's easy to ask from outside also. Like, I love the way you bring in, say you pick one wrestler, like last week it was Earthquake, but you bring his total history. Where the WWF or WWE only focuses on his career in the WWE. So you never know where he's coming from. And back in the day, we didn't have internet and all these knowledge. So when we hear, like say a wrestler came from WCW, or a wrestler as you don't see him often, and then you notice he's like in another company, total different clothes, but you recognize him from, and that we had to figure it out differently. Now the answers are all revealed, but back in those days it was different. It was like a mystery. And even Vince McMahon, we didn't know he was the owner. I didn't know that until
I think
later.
we realized around 97.
Yeah, maybe because of Stone Cold and his feud. But back in the days when he was like a commentator or a ring announcer, I didn't put that together. Um,
We were kids.
we didn't think about
We actually believed kayfabe. We believed kayfabe. Just for anybody who doesn't know, kayfabe is the expression, the suspense of disbelief in thinking that what you saw on the screen is real.
Yeah.
And up till 96, I thought it was real. The match Undertaker had with Mankind in the Boiler Room Brawl, I cried like a baby when Undertaker lost. I thought, this is over. Wrestling in my career is
But
over.
not only because he lost,
In my
because he
life.
made it so personally when Paul Bearer turned on The Undertaker. That was the thing that made you cry. And I mean, there's a lot of moments, and it's not like watching a soap opera, but it was like real. It wasn't a
It
story.
was real to me.
And it was like, back in those days, also there was characters like this guy is bigger than life, and then this guy comes from the side and just beats him up, and like, well, how can someone beat my favorite wrestler? That's like,
It's impossible.
I hope
It
he
couldn't
comes back.
happen.
And then you see a guy running out. He's coming to help the baby faces. I don't know if you ever explained what baby faces and heels mean, but
Well, let's give a small summary of that. Babyface is the good guy,
yes,
and the heel is the bad guy. And you expect that the babyface in the long-term feud is expected to win.
yes. So, for instance, if Bret Hart was a big guy in that days, so say someone like Sid came out and beat Bret Hart, and then say someone like, I don't know, Shawn Michaels, whoever, also baby faces was, and then they come out and help Bret facing Sid or whatever, and that creates a tag team, or that's create a storyline or whatever. But again, it was so real for us. And then you add the managers and the commentators giving the right words to make it larger than life, and then you get the fans' involvement. You see people crying or cheering or booing. And the World Wrestling Federation or any promoter of that is making such a good job of making it real and making it you crying with the guy
It's a
that's
suspense
crying.
of disbelief.
If someone's getting hurt, you're hurting with them. So it's very good. And I mean, Undertaker was a guy that had the amazing ability to make the crowd go silent. It's like, wow, what are we seeing? So the popular is one is cheering or booing, but he had a gift that makes the crowd go silent. So that was very good. And then,
always one of my favorite moves was when he came into the ring during his entrance, and he would lift his hands and the lights would come on. Yes. That was something so unique to his character.
And also the music that's playing a perfect role in bringing the character's fullness out of it.
Yes.
I mean, you know exactly if the lights go out, you know it's going to be the Undertaker. And then the people are starting,
and the bell, the toll of the bell.
Yeah. And then the smoke coming out, the purple smoke, and the commentators again saying it's like chilling in this building. They're building that like you're really feeling cold at home.
You can already hear Vince McMahon say, it's unbelievable.
But I mean, that's just one character. How many characters did they create over the years? You can't even mention them all in this video. And then just to say again, how can you pick one guy from all of that? Because if it wasn't for the good heels, you wouldn't have had the good baby faces.
I always say it's more important for the heel to portray his character unique and well, because it sets the stage for why would people cheer the baby face. If you didn't have a good heel, your baby face wouldn't be cheered enough. And that's why I would say, building up to WrestleMania 1, Roddy Piper was just as instrumental to WrestleMania 1 as Hogan was.
Because you need an opponent. You can't go in alone. So if you don't have an opponent, even Hulk Hogan would have been nothing. But with a good opponent and good managers pouring on and good commentating and good storylines and everything, you create a mega star. I mean, all you can name everyone that's been there. Stone Cold, The Rock, everyone. They needed someone to build them up. And also our fans. They could have been nothing without the fans. And I know WWE gives a lot of credit to the fans, which is good. Especially with the Hall of Fames. I
Yes.
mean, a lot of speeches they gave the fans back and just say thank you. And we wrestling fans, that's enough. They don't need to give us a ticket or a prize or a gift or whatever, which is would be nice, but just a thanks, just to say we love you, WWE Universe.
It's a moment in history that we will always cherish.
Yes. So yeah, and I mean, what you can speak about anything. It's like entertaining. You can ask, what's the favorite move set, of what's the favorite. Yeah. So
Okay, let me ask you the same question. Your all-time favorite character?
well, at the time when I was a young man, I loved Bam Bam Bigelow, obviously. The British Bulldog. I was actually crying when he turned heel. 1-2-3 Kid I loved. But like I said, that was, they built the baby faces so much you have to cheer.
Sorry.
And I mean, obviously Bret Hart and but I was a guy that also liked heels. So from early on, I loved Ted DiBiase, the Million Dollar Man. I was a Hulk Hogan fan. I probably still is. I'm just afraid to say it sometimes. But I mean, he had a very,
Because I'm not a Hogan fan.
yes, it's like
I was as a kid,
yes.
but then I took off the bandana and everything, and I saw what's
think
really
there's
going
a thing
on.
that you shouldn't. Yeah, there's reasons why you love the guys. But all-time favorite, like I say, I don't like these kind of questions. But I'll have to go with Hulk Hogan.
All time?
Yes, but like you shouldn't go into private life. You should
Okay, brother.
You should keep it into the wrestling what you saw on TV. And I loved Shawn Michaels a lot. So yeah, and I liked when they put them in stables and.
Okay, now I have to ask it. I've heard this question a lot of times. They talk about a person's Mount Rushmore of favorite good, well wrestlers. 4 wrestlers. Go.
Well, if you go outside WWF or WWE, you have to put Ric Flair there.
Oh, yes.
I mean, he made wrestling. Even Hulk Hogan said he was the greatest wrestler. Harley Race you can put there.
You're going to put Harley Race in? Awesome.
Yes, because they actually had good feuds and stuff. And
toughest guy ever in the business.
I want to put Dusty, but my options are getting few. So
you've got 2 left.
Yeah. So Undertaker for just
the greatest gimmick of all time.
Yes, the greatest gimmick, and he had great matches. His character was great. But the last one, I think,
it's going to be Hogan.
Let's put a new guy. No, I don't think Hulk Hogan. Let's put a newer guy. Let's bring the WWE into it. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
Because he saved wrestling by in the Monday Night Wars.
He was an important gear in the Attitude Era.
Yes.
Very important.
And if you add the feud with WCW they had, he was a very important character. Not himself, like I said, it's a team thing. I mean, The Rock also, and tag teams that time was very good. and the people wanted to see more, and that's exactly what they
Okay,
created.
but before we get to tag teams, I want to put my 4 on, and I'm going to talk about pound for pound the best guys. There has to be 4. It's going to be the Nature Boy Ric Flair, the Macho Man Randy Savage.
yes.
Oh yeah,
And he was a natural.
yes, absolutely. And I'm going to put on to most people wouldn't expect, or most people won't know. It's going to be from the British scene, Mark Rollerball Rocco, the Manchester Mean Machine. And final spot, it has to be Undertaker.
Yes.
So, but let's get to tag teams. Your Mount Rushmore of 4 teams.
Well, I think it's a bit easier, but Legion of Doom,
Yes.
obviously. Steiner Brothers, I love them. That was like the most entertaining tag team matches is Steiner Brothers. I love a good suplex. Um, the Dudley Boys, but I don't think that's top 4.
Okay, that's yours.
So let's change that one to the obviously Midnight Express.
Oh yes, which combination? Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane, or Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey, the original?
The first one you mentioned.
Dennis Condrey. We're talking about around 1988.
Yeah, so that's
And,
going back
earlier.
way back.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last one,
You still got the Bulldogs, the Heart Foundation,
yes, but
the Rock and Roll Express.
well, I loved the Head Shrinkers, but I won't put it.
Samu and Fatu.
The time I started watching it was Sione and Fatu.
Oh yes, it was. Wasn't that Barbarian?
Yes.
Sione was Barbarian, yes. And they went over to WCW and they became
what was Islanders. No. That was before.
Okay, but I know.
Okay, the last team I would have liked now is Owen Hart and Yokozuna.
Oh yes.
And I love the idea of him bringing out a mystery partner, the one that did what he wanted to do, and that's beat Bret for the WWF Championship. I gave you the mighty Yokozuna, and that was the first time I saw Yokozuna, bigger than ever. So, but again, I also loved Owen Hart and British Bulldog as a team, and I had the privilege of seeing them live in South Africa. So that was like huge for me.
Yes, if anybody sees this from the United States, just know that the WWE or WWF, it was usually around about a decade before they come for a tour in South Africa. And how many shows did you see?
I saw 4 shows total, 96, 97, I think 2003, 2004.
Okay, I didn't know you were at those shows, but I know about the earlier ones.
So the first guy I ever saw as a fan, seeing someone live, was Barry Horowitz. He always slapped himself at the back.
Say what you want. He was a very good undercard heel.
Yes. And I mean, that's like huge for a South African guy. And that's why I say this stuff is like treasures, because those days it wasn't so easy to find this stuff. And if you see an action figure or if you see something about wrestling, it's like, I have to have it. It's like finding a piece of gold.
And today you would call that fool's gold.
Yes. But we probably
not
are
to
the
us.
fools.
Not to us.
We could have been, from a guy that's not a wrestling fan, we are probably fools. Because I know from my family that they thought that we were crazy, spending that money on things that's toys, but it's not for us. It's not toys for us.
Well, look at the situation. I'm 42 years old, and there's a lot of things that side that it's in that category.
And if you knew from a young guy the value this stuff will have 20, 40 years later, you could have made big profit. If we had money to buy everything we have times 5 and sell all the doubles 40 years later, we could have had a lot of money. So it's not
No.
just a toy.
So we are fools, we are idiots, no matter what. Call it what you want to. Okay, let's get back to the point.
Yes.
Let's get back to my four Mount Rushmore tag teams. Also the Legion of Doom, also the Steiners. It's going to be the Midnight Express. I'm going to take the final rendition of Sweet Stan Lane and Beautiful Bobby Eaton. And if it comes to a fourth team, it's going to be, to me, between the Bulldogs or the Heart Foundation. And I'm going to give a slight edge to the Bulldogs, just for the fact that they have the Dynamite Kid. That is quite possibly, pound for pound, the greatest wrestler of all time.
But a great team or a great wrestler needs a great manager.
Oh, yes.
So giving the same question to you with the managers for not only
Mount Rushmore
WWF.
4. Okay, I'm thankful you said that, because I'm going to have to put in Paul Bear. So unique.
But
his
give a
character.
little bit background for him. He wasn't always Paul Bearer, was he?
Before that, he worked in WCCW, the Dallas promotion of the Von Erichs, as Percy Pringle III.
And what color was his hair?
It was blonde. Well, he was trying to be a carbon copy of Bobby Heenan. And even Bobby told him, change it. Be yourself. Do something unique. And when he got the gimmick of Paul Bear, it worked out perfect.
And he was the perfect wrestling fan in a wrestling he was a fan in the situation, living himself out. Okay, but sorry, go back to the Rushmore.
I'm going to put in somebody from the Dallas promotion. Playboy Gary Hart. Never moved to the WWF, which is, I find it actually shocking, but he was also a booker. Very good booker. He was, I would say, he was the equivalent of almost Father James Mitchell from TNA. Also a bit of a dark character without looking like the devil. Gary Hart, also in that group. Now, two final people. And not just for the fact that I like them for the team. Oh, I can't throw him away. James E. Cornette from the Midnight Express. And a final one.
I think you're just missing someone, but I'm not going to help you.
Bobby Heenan, the greatest manager of all time. Okay, thanks, you got me.
That's my number one.
Yes,
Bobby
it is number one.
Heenan,
nobody is better than Bobby.
He did a lot for the business. Also Jim Cornette, James E. Cornette, or whatever you want to call it. And I hope he sees this one day and say, you were so great.
I don't think he's going to like us. We're very conservative, and he's okay.
Anyway, and then also Jimmy Hart. I loved him.
The Mouth of the South.
I wonder how many jackets does he have. And then the fourth one, let me just think a little.
Okay, you've got Bobby Heenan, Jim Cornette, and Jimmy Hart.
Yes, and the fourth one is so difficult, but let's go with Mr. Fuji.
The devious one.
Yes. So
the problem with Mr. Fuji...
I'm going to take that back. Okay, I'm going to have Captain Lou O'Brien.
Oh!
I just love that guy.
He was actually a wrestler before he became a manager.
Yeah.
He was part of a tag team, the Sicilians, basically the mafia-style tag team, and they had to drop the gimmick because I think they were threatened by the mafia.
And he had an interesting beard with the thingy. Yeah. And he was actually a very, very good manager on the fact that he managed so many tag team champions. He created a team and then he built them up to a champion. But we didn't see a lot of him. I think he was there before we actually started having...
The big time for him was 70s and early to mid 80s. He did come back, I think it was about 94, 95, for a very short run with the Head Shrinkers.
Yes,
That's that.
that's where I noticed him first. And I also loved Ted DiBiase as a manager.
Wasted potential.
He actually made a lot of guys better than they should have been or could have been. That's the role of a manager.
Yes, but the problem is the $1 Million Corporation was wasted
Yes.
in booking.
Yeah, so yeah, that's it. So what's next? Next question.
Good question. What's the next question?
Well, it's easy because we can go back to what's your favorite female wrestler? Anyone in the business, but that's like.
Okay, now it's going to be an interesting situation.
Is it
when it
divas?
comes to look or when it comes to wrestling ability? Okay, let's say look.
What they did for the business doesn't matter what era. Like if it's
Okay. When it comes to the look, to me, the most beautiful female wrestler of all time was Beth Phoenix. And my second I have to name was Trish Stratus. Okay.
I like in that department. I like Stacy Keibler. I just liked her and Sunny at the time.
Not much of a
She had a
wrestler,
charisma.
more of a referee. I'm no referee, manager slash. Yes, I'm not going to say.
And I loved her voice with the thing about her body dollars.
Like nails on a chalkboard. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me.
And yeah, she did a lot for the business, I think. I mean, but you can't think not about Miss Elizabeth, what she did for the business. Like I said, it's not
to
always
me,
about
she
looks.
was like a deer in the headlights. I didn't really say, what did she do?
Well, they created tears for the fans when she and Macho Man came back together.
Okay.
So can't you remember the fans actually crying?
Yes, like I remember that
scene.
part.
Well, that's a big part.
But once they put a microphone in front of her face, she
wasn't supposed to do that. But she was also always the one that, when Macho Man was in real trouble, she ran to the back and went for help. And that was good for that time. It gave a little drama into that. But you can't think. I don't know if you can see it from here, but the fabulous Moolah. I mean, she's also a very important one. She had to be there. In these days, you have to have Stephanie McMahon. I'm not always a fan of her, but she did a lot for the business. I mean,
the business and Vince did a lot for her.
Yes. So, yeah.
When it comes to wrestling ability, I'm going to put an interesting one on. Japanese wrestler, Bull Nakano.
Yes.
With that weird hair, she looks like Paul Phoenix almost from Tekken.
She looks like a character from... Yeah.
No.
So I would go for that matter to Lita. Not the best, but at the time she did her part and she did things.
She did some things, yeah.
Because that's why she's part of Team Extreme.
The rated R's with age, that was a bit.
That was not good.
Explicit.
Well, they made it.
She
good,
made
but
herself
the storyline didn't look good. So yeah.
Yeah, but remember, when we think that's bad, remember the time that Vince McMahon made Trish Stratus bark like a dog.
Well, was it the same time he made William Regal kiss his butt?
Yeah.
Well,
but he wasn't the only one. Jim Ross also had to do it.
Yes. And I think William Regal actually appreciated it because he said it was good television. He didn't need to be the world champion. He just did every job they gave him. And for him, it was like, if he didn't need to be the world champion, he just needed to be on television. Even Al Snow said it. He said he was very disappointed because he didn't get a lot of title opportunities. But he late Al Snow
with William Regal.
No. Only Al Snow as character.
Oh,
He
okay.
said afterwards he was actually now seeing how much they gave him TV opportunities, and that's more than being the champion always. So Vince
Mhm.
of the WWE or WWF put people on TV because they can rely on them. They know they are good workers and they do the job,
Mm.
and that's to be seen is just as important to be the world champion sometimes, because they play their role. And even the first match to the last match needs to be perfect for a good show. I mean, we know it. If you have a great opening match, the whole card can be great. But if you have a bad opening match, it starts to struggle to build a
Question. The greatest pay-per-view opening match, what would that be to you? I can immediately think of one. WrestleMania 10. Remember the
Owen and
opening match?
Yeah, Owen and Brett.
Yes.
For Owen's
Bloody
career, that was the
amazing.
best match he could have had.
Except the way he looked at the end. He had a very bad cotton mouth, and it like
No.
spilled to the side of his mouth. It looked funny. So,
But for him, it was a big moment
yes,
because
that was amazing.
he pinned Brett without any interference, without any cheating or whatever.
But as he said, he said he knew Brett better than he knew himself.
And that created the big steel cage match. So
People dunk on the cage match, but I think it was a very good cage match.
that was one of the most entertaining cage matches.
Because everybody said the match was too long, they had too many times tried to get out the ring. But that's what a cage match is. You're trying to get out.
Yeah,
Every chance you get, you take it.
I remember the big suplex from the cage inside into the ring. And because they are such good wrestlers and good acting to the fans in a match, you could have seen it's like the toughest match they both had. It's like a struggling to get to the win. And they gave them all, their all.
Yes.
And I mean, Bret Hart alone, you can name a lot of matches. Owen Hart also. I mean, that's two great wrestlers. But opening matches, it's so hard to. I don't know.
But
yeah,
you
it's too
can't
much.
compare anything to WrestleMania's opening match.
Yes.
That's just a fact.
Yeah, and I think we tend to forget some of the matches and the details that were there.
No, we're getting a little slow at this age.
Yes. But that's the nicest thing. You can go back and
Being slow, being old.
No, to go back and rewatch it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay,
and you
I'm
never
with you
get
now.
all of it. You can go.
Yes, I was almost pissed at you. Okay.
But we are getting old.
Yeah, look.
We both can show that. But wearing a hat on TV, nah, you should be as you are.
Yes. We're completely fine with the way we look. I'm happy with the way I look. I'm 6'1". I'm a big fat guy, so I'm fine with that.
Well, I think if we stand up, I'll be the fat guy.
Well, we're two fat guys. What was the tag team? Early WCW. It was, I think the guy was Great Kong and the other guy was something. Both under masks, and they looked almost like the headhunters or crap. Those two guys.
But there's a lot of teams that a big guy and a small guy.
That's always the best type of tag team because you have the excitement of every style that you need in the ring. That's why you nominated Yokozuna and Owen Hart, obviously, for your Mount Rushmore.
And a great thing about big wrestlers, there's lots of big wrestlers that can move like a super lightweight. And I mean, we can name a few of them. I mean, Yokozuna is one of them. He could have given a super kick for a guy that's 6 foot.
He did the Savate kick.
Yeah.
That was very well known amongst the Samoan style wrestlers.
And he can move fast. Everyone can do that.
At a point.
And then Bam Bam, obviously.
Bam Bam and Vader will always come to mind.
But I mean, there's a lot of them. You can go search on the internet, big guys that's in and out of wrestling. Um, and I miss the thing about wrestling those days. That's different characters,
The
different
steroids.
styles of wrestlers. You got the big guys, you get the fast guys, you get the tall guys, you get different
Shapes and
variations of
sizes.
wrestler. These days, I don't think there's much of that.
Remember when they said the smaller guys were guys that weighed in about 240 pounds?
Yeah.
Now it's the big guys weighing 240
And
pounds.
sadly, they had to. A small guy didn't easily make it in the business. They had to go on something that makes them bigger. So
What do we call that? The juice?
I'm not going to say
the
anything
juice?
about that.
Juice? Like orange juice? Lemon juice?
If it only stayed at lemon.
What I have here, but I'm not going to say what it is. Pardon for the
I'm not
noise.
going to say anything. It's not what you think it is.
What?
So,
what's in my jug? Or
not the juice.
Okay, not the juice. Okay.
We're not on that.
We're definitely not on that juice. Does this look like I'm on the juice?
No, but I know about a lot of people that were on the juice and stopped that or stopped using that. That's why
Wrestlers?
the wrestlers. I think Ric Flair was one of the examples of quickly using steroids and realizing he shouldn't and stopped. That's why he got that weird stomach muscles. I think I heard that. I can't say it as a fact, but that's what steroids does to you when you stop using it.
Mm.
And obviously,
Don't go for the quick fix. I think it was Bruno Sammartino that said that.
but again, if you're a small guy, how are you going to make it if you know the company needs big guys? How are you going to do that?
Think about what happened to Dynamite Kid.
That's a good example. And I mean, Bret Hart actually also in that same category. But if you see his early matches, how thin he was and how quick he was, he also had to do something. I don't say he ever was on.
Did you see how Davy Boy Smith looked in England?
Yes, that's what I mean.
Oh my goodness.
They had to do something to fit in. I think it was like, if they don't have that look, they're not going to make it.
Yeah, but basically, if you want to make it in the WWF, you had to have that. If you were a very capable wrestler, a good hard worker, you would make it in the NWA or the AWA, because Vern Gagne, that was the promoter of the AWA, wanted real athletes. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why I didn't put the title on Hulk Hogan back in 83.
And if you think about it now, is it really so wrong to be on steroids if it's not a proper sport?
That's now the ethical question we have to answer. And
so it is unhealthy for a person to be on it, and as a company you can't support that. But as an athlete that's not really competing against another person for a medal.
But when we think back during that time, because they protected kayfabe,
Yes.
it was important. Like the, what did they say, the sporting boards or the, I'm making my name an idiot. I'm making myself an idiot for not remembering this. Every state had a commission that had to relegate any form of sport. And during that time, because it wasn't exposed wrestling at that period, people knew something was wrong, but during that time you had to pay the commission a fee. It was expected, but the promoters was willing to pay the fee to protect the business and kayfabe.
And the big thing about that is that was the era Hulk Hogan said you should take your vitamins. And every normal thinking person will say the vitamins he's taking
vitamins was code.
Is not normal vitamins.
Be like Hulk Hogan. Take your vitamins.
He's promoting it to children to take steroids or something to get a leap in whatever they do. So I think that's a major thing.
No, or transition from
it's not
a man to a woman,
C.
and compete in women's sports.
It's not.
I heard it works very well. You can be a
Yes.
mediocre athlete and suddenly you're a star. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's a lot of storylines out of the business. Now, so that's the stuff I didn't like even to hear, because that's like, I want to see the wrestling. I don't care about the backstage stuff. And the more you realize there's a lot of things happening in these guys' private lives.
The most interesting story is actually what we started seeing behind the screens, especially after kayfabe was broken.
Yes, I remember the documentary that came out about Beyond the Mat. That was the first thing I saw that's really showing backstage what's happening out of the ring and whatever. And for me, it was actually a very good documentary. But I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to know anything outside. And I mean, today also, I'm not the fan I used to be because of the things I know about the guys' private lives.
But the big problem is, since the conception of the internet and it becoming very mainstream, nothing can be kept in the dark anymore,
Yeah.
for a wrestling fan even.
There will never be a time that we had,
Yeah.
because that was still a hidden
And
rule.
that's why we cherished it.
they
That's why we
protected the
still have
business.
those wonderful memories to this day.
Yeah.
And that's why we thought we would like to share some of it here in this moment. But we will talk again about more interesting facts about wrestling, the way we experienced wrestling.
Yeah.
So for tonight, we want to say thank you for anybody who listened. Even if it's one person that thought this interesting, we enjoyed it, didn't enjoy it, don't worry. Just thank you for the time that you spent with me, Andre,
And to Ruaan.
Ruaan from Wrestle to the Top. Goodbye.